Hey everyone, Steven TheSalonGuy here, and today I've got a professional haircutting tutorial for you guys. Now I say professional, meaning this is geared towards you guys that are professionals, whether you're in the industry for 20 years or a year. This is going to be helpful to you guys, and it's going to be how to cut a face frame. I have a very unique way of cutting a face frame, and let's back this up a little bit so you can see here. Here's the before, and I want you guys to really get a good look at this. Here's the before. And I just want to break down, because a lot of people have challenges with understanding face frames, how to cut them, where to start them. You know, I always say you really have to figure out the overall shape, all right? If you cut a face frame up to here, it's almost going to be like a longer fringe or bang, which means this has to all work into the rest of the haircut. So you have to add some layers to it. You can't have really an unbalanced shape where you've got, you know, this really long and this really short. It has to be really, really balanced, and think of the end result in mind. So when you're consulting with your client, think about how you want the style to really look for your guest. Do you want to create a softer flowing face frame? Do you want to have a longer fringe? Do you want to have longer layers? Take everything into consideration when cutting this. So I'm going to show you guys how to create kind of a softer flowing face frame, starting from about right here, this area, the nose area, and working down in through the sides and back. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to establish the natural parting and where we're going to cut the hair. So, to be on the safe side, you always go right down the middle, but you always want to, keep in mind that sometimes a client might part it, off to the side, which makes a big difference as far as, how you're going to face frame and what you're going to do. So, let's focus on something and keep it a little more simple, and then I'll show you, what would happen if we do kind of go from a center parting to a side part. So you want to comb all the hair straight down to where it naturally falls. I mean, that's like the main key to any sort of haircut, is you want to comb it down to where it naturally falls. Now, as I mentioned before, you want to really find out where you want this to start, the face frame, because whatever hair comes forward, it's going to go back. Meaning, if I cut a angle starting right here, right? If I come in, I'm not going to do it yet, but if I cut right here, this piece is going to travel back to right here. That's it. So wherever you cut that first face frame piece, remember, that is where it's going to live, and that's where it's going to flow back. So think of the overall flow of the haircut. That's really a key term, is the flow of the haircut. How you think the client is going to style it herself. Does she want something where she just kind of brushes it back and it falls into the rest of the haircut? So that might mean, okay, we might have to start the face frame down around this area right in through here. Okay, does she want really low maintenance? Then, I mean, it's not even a face frame, it's more like a really long angle right down and through here. But a face frame really is something that is going to not only, yes, frame the face, but also the more modern type of face frame is when you can kind of brush the hair back and it has a nice flow to it. How we're going to do this is I'm going to comb this all straight down like this, and you want to make sure that it's falling in its natural state, because this is how it's going to lay naturally. So here's where we're going to start the angle. And what I like to do is I like to use my fingers in the front here to start to kind of position where we're going to cut and where we're going to angle. Because say, for example, this piece right in through here is the length. You have this area to work with right in through here. So this is like when you take your fingers and you bring it down and you kind of scoop in, this is where your finger positioning is where you can really pretty much dictate where the angle is going to start. And the finger positioning is really going to control everything. I'm going to lock in my fingers, and my fingers right down and through here, that is the length that I'm going to leave. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut upwards. So let's turn the mannequin. Let's turn this way so you can see. We'll go back a little bit further. And here, again, is where I locked my fingers in. That's the length right here. Now I'm angling my fingers up, and I'm cutting palm to palm. Now I'm going to work this up by simply doing the same thing, combing, and the higher I angle my elbow, look at what I'm doing. I'm bringing this up, which means I'm going to be able to cut it shorter. So now I'm going to drop that piece out, and now we're going to pick up. That's where the cut, where we last cut. We don't want to cut that, but what we want to do is work our face frame up. And now look what we've done. We've created a nice, soft face frame. And then what you can do is just, if there's any little bits there, you come back in and you cut it. So let's turn this way now so you can see. And what's going to happen is, here's the first piece right here. It's down just below the chin area, right into here. And now what's going to happen is, as the client brings this back, there's the face frame, and it's going to have a longer type flow if this is the length. All right, so we're going to bring this back, and this is more of a longer type face frame. So this is really just to kind of show you guys how to create a look by using your elbow. So now what we do is, on the other side, we'll just comb this straight down. Let's turn so you can see. Again, we're going to lock in our fingers like this, and now we're going to cut upwards. Same thing. We're going to angle our fingers up, and we're going to work the shape in just like we did on the other side, coming down into the shape this way. And as we continue to work up the head shape, now what happens is, by curving our fingers up like this, is where we're going to have complete control over everything. Now here's a little trick, because sometimes people get confused. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to match the sides up. So what I'll do is, I'll take a section from the previous, which is right here. There's the guide right there. What I'll do is, I'll come over the top and I'll cut that. And I'll cut it on the angle to then match everything up and work down into the face frame. And then we have a good solid face frame on both sides. Then what you can do is, what I like to do to check is, I'll take a little triangle like this on both sides, right into the front area, right in through here, and then I'll comb everything forward, and I'll create a little triangle, and then kind of use my fingers just like this, lock it in, and I'll bring it all down this way. And if everything is even, this is hair from the other side here on the top, you'll bring it all down, and if it's all even, that means we're well balanced. So you can continue to take everything from where you cut, comb it all forward, and then that's really kind of like a cross check for making sure your face frame is relatively even. And bring it all in. And this is really, really going to help you to maintain. This is, again, a little trick that I've learned over the years, is just bring everything to this one point into the middle. And then if it's a lot longer, there, see? Now we're bringing it down, and it's all even. These little bits are from the back, which we haven't cut. And then we have an even face frame. Now, this, again, is for this particular length. This is for somebody who wants a little bit of a longer, softer face frame. You want to introduce layers to them. You don't want to go do anything too crazy, because they want to keep a little more length. This is great for someone who's got a little more of a wants a softer face frame. Now, say you get the client who wants a more extreme face frame, which is kind of like what the trends are. It's really becoming a trend to have really, really shorter front and longer length. So again, you don't want to ever do this. Don't ever cut straight across. I did that when I was in beauty school, and it was a nightmare. You always want to angle your fingers, because no matter how short you cut this, you always have this length to be protected. You never want to hold your hands parallel like this when face framing. We're going to lock in the fingers like this. Here, they are straight. Now we're going to turn them this way. And so we cut right there, and what's going to happen, let me raise the elbow, is we're now cutting down, and as we're cutting, we're sliding down like that. Now I'm going to connect all this, and then just work my way down into the length, Just like that. Now watch, look what we did. We created a nice, softer, shorter face frame right in through here. So that means when the client brings this back, we've got a nice, beautiful sweeping area right in through here. Now keep in mind, we didn't layer any of this yet. I just want to focus on showing you how to do a face frame, but the key really is to go shorter here and work this down into a longer shape. How do you do that on this side? Same thing. Comb this all down, work this up this way, and what I like to do is pick up the piece from the other side of where it left off, which is right here. Here is the shorter point right there, and then we're going to cut up to that one piece. So we're kind of like stealing a piece from the other side and cutting up. See? Great. Now we've got our guide, and now we're going to keep the length, and we're going to angle our fingers going upwards, and this is going to create our new shorter face frame right into the front. Remember, you want to keep the angle really, really strong on this. You don't ever want to cut the length in through the sides or go horizontally straight across. Same thing, we could check by pulling everything forward, and if there is any sort of area that needs to be cut shorter, then we cut it shorter. All right, so you're going to get some longer hairs because we didn't cut the back, but this is a great way to cross-check, and then by doing this, you're cleaning up the ends too. So by bringing everything forward, remember, it's all going to travel back. Whatever you bring forward, that's what's going to go back and create a softer look. So bringing everything forward like this just helps you to see visually the outline and the face frame. And if you see it, pretty much want to get rid of it because it doesn't need to be there. And that's what's going to prevent the hair from flowing really nicely. So you really, really want to focus on the flow of everything. And now, I'll tell you, I've been a hairstylist for over 20 years, and even myself, things aren't always even. Don't become frustrated. Don't worry about it. If things aren't even, you go back in and you cross-check. So, here is the front of the face frame. Now we bring this all back, and then we have a nice face frame in through the very, very front. Now again, you have complete control of where everything is going to live, of where it's going to fall. All that stuff really depends on your fingers and your body positioning. So let's comb this down this way. We can all comb this forward here to make sure we're good. And if everything again is falling as it looks, visually it looks good, then your face frame is complete. So I'm going to blow dry this. I just want to show you how it looks from a finished perspective. I know I'm going to get a number of questions about the blow drying process for this, so I figured I'd just do a quick little explanation of blow drying. Now, first of all, this blow dryer, the Hair Art Products H3000, this blow dryer is the best blow dryer I've ever used. A really, really high-end blow dryer. This thing is like as light as a feather. It's so light. And the nozzle here, it's got a huge size nozzle, which is great for blow drying. And I'm just obsessed with this blow dryer. hairartproducts.com. Tell them the Salon Guy sent you. I'm obsessed with this blow dryer. So I'm using a round brush here. This is from Paul Mitchell Pro Tools. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put this on lower air. And I like to cut the face, blow dry the face frame the way I cut it. So the first section I take is right in the front, all right? Right in the very, very front. That's the first section that I take. And I blow dry this all forward towards the face. That's the key, is to blow dry this all towards the face to create that lift and to create that arch right in the very, very front. So there's the first section, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bring everything down on an angle just like how we cut it, and then we blow dry this all forward, and then I'll show you what the finished result looks like. All right, so here's the finished blow dry of the face frame, and what you see here is basically all the hair coming forward like this. So this gives you a good visual to double check to make sure that everything is pretty much well balanced and that everything is even. You can get that right from the visual right into here, which is great. Now, here is what I call the money shot. So you tell the client to bring their hair back this way, their head back a little bit, so they're leaning their head back while they're sitting in a chair. And then what I do is I find the center part and I literally use my fingers and I rake everything back, because when you blow dry it forward, it actually creates that volume and it sets the hair in. So then once that is back, then I tell them, okay, here we go. You ready? Their head would go forward this way, back to normal position, and then you work this all in and bring it into shape like that. And look at this. Look how beautiful that is. Look at, we have the gorgeous face frame, and keep in mind, we'd even, cut any of the layers into the back, but I've done numerous tutorials on creating what I call my money layered cut. But this is a really, really gorgeous, simple way to create that really sexy, very, very trendy face frame. And look at that, it's just falls right into place. And if you can master this, you do really well. And I like to keep all of my hair cutting techniques and everything really simple. You don't want to complicate it, because if you can do this and get an end result without having to talk about 500 degrees and 88 degrees here, 90 degrees here, look, just cut it the way it falls. This is the shape you can create and you have a finished result. Well guys, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, I do have my own shears. These are Japanese steel, really high quality for a very affordable price. TheSalonGuy.com/shop. I've had these tested. These are manufactured just for me, and they're all custom made, really high quality, very affordable. I use these. If I can use them, then if you're a professional looking for good quality, affordable price, whether you're new or experienced, then these will do the trick. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for more videos with The Salon Guy.